What is it now? She didn't respond. What do you want to know? I haven't seen you now in what, millennia? At Epic, perhaps, have you? But again, Hope, like always. Docile, she walked to the mother. Hiding yourself? Masturbating to yourself, is what she said. Trying to understand the mother. The mother was hidden. She was at the 2. But Hope at the 1, always asking questions about the 4. Who played the 4? What, you say to me? Who plays 4? That's what I want to know. Who plays 4? Oblivion at the 2 looked at the small thing on its knees. A small church called Hope. Who plays 4? Yes, I'd like to know. Who plays 4? 4 is a number. You know that. Yes, I suppose I do know 4. Then you must ask and know the question and the answer. You play 4. 4 is the number that you play. You always seem to run so fast. And the 1. The 1 was a second hand. A minute hand that ran so fast. At the 2 was the mother. Oblivion, sometimes called Raft, on the shovel of shit. Her husband always held her up, right over the grave. She would look down, docile at the hole, and understand that someone had passed. But then this buffoon always touched the stone, and always the same thing with Merc, crying endlessly. I cannot save even one of these things. I cannot. And then, like always, up she'd come, like a daisy. Up she would come, right to the digger. The digger, holding the wife, would drop her right back down into the ground again. And then, like always, looking at his daughter, called Hope in a sense. What? She would ask, what? Her father. A cadaver of a man with no head. Oh yes, he had lost his head. It had been cut off in a sense. He had made love to his what? The beloved tear called time. And like always, she always ran to her mother. Always looking at the 2, an hour hand that moved so slow, and always the same question. 4. What was 4? And like always, on the 2, the mother, Raft, holding a soul in her arms, the eyes closed. Judgment. I shall not judge this soul. That's what she said. But still, on the other side, always listening to this buffoon on the knees. What is 4? 4? A mighty roar. 4 is what it is. A number, no more and no less. And then she said on the side, the buffoon said, who plays the game of 4? Can you tell me that? And always with a roar on the other side, the soul in her arms, Oblivion, took the soul and dropped him down. Ouch, is what he said, falling down to Oblivion, falling right back down to the darkness. The soul went where? To hell? To heaven? No, he was right on the floor. Madam, what have you done? Dropped me on the floor, like always? And then darkness. Massive darkness. The eyes closed. Oblivion did not judge. She reached out in the darkness and picked up the soul, and picked it right up to the breast, and held him tight. So tight, the warmth from his face, from his soul, from his essence, warmed a pillar of darkness, in a sense. She held the man close. And the man looked right into the face of darkness, death in a sense. Understanding the mother, he also asked the same question. 5. What? 5. I want to know. Have I passed? Quiet again. The buffoon on the other side wanted to know 4. The last moment of a life. 4 was time. 5 was death. 5 meant to lie under the grace of God. You were gone. You were in the hole, in the ground. But on the other side, on the mark, the small thing said the same thing again. What is 4? Cursing, Oh, and she dropped the man on the floor again. Down he went. The soul. Ouch, is what he said, falling right down on his face in the darkness. He screamed 5. 5, is it then? She couldn't hear the other side. She couldn't hear that. Hope couldn't hear 5. Her ears only heard 4. Holding close, touching the stone like always. 5 wasn't spoken by Hope. She only said 4 to 1. On the other side, 5. The gentleman on the knees, looking up to the darkness, trying to understand where he was. 5 is what he said. Darkness looked right down the soul, lurking so in the darkness. She did not say nothing to push him back to the 4, but he had passed. Yet the doctor, trying to resuscitate the man, took what? Something to his chest, electric, right to his chest, and boop, 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 and somehow the man at the 5 was now back into what? The 3, in a sense. He was alive again. The doctor, trying to ask the man, he was amazed. Somehow, the doctor said to the man, I thought you had passed. And the man explained, I had an out-of-body experience, is what he said. Trying to understand, the doctor amazed. It was a miracle, is what he said. You were dead for what? 4 minutes, I do believe. You had passed. The man thought it was an eternity. He mentioned a darkness. He mentioned a thing called a raft. The doctor, in amazement, had no idea what he spoke of, but the buffoon, oh yes, on the knees, she knew 4. And then she asked a question that muddled all things. Tell me, mother, is what she said. What is a game of 4? Who plays games of 4? She mentioned something she always would say on occasion, and always she did not say God. No, not the devil. No, what she mentioned was the white rose. The white carnation, the white rose. Was it 4? The mother screamed and roared with blasphemous hate. She did not like the carnation. She hated white. She hated a thing called hope. What she hated was, well, the white rose. They served it, and always was the carnation for the father, like always. The digger tried to understand the rose. He knew the rose. They were servants of the white rose. This game of 4. Someone played it quite well. Someone would say the word cookie and somehow push all of these buffoons right back to the beginning again. A comedy, a tragedy, and always the same thing. Down she would come, right to the 4, on her knees like always, and still the same stupid question. How many times have you asked me that question? Oblivion at the 2, looked at the daughter at the 4. How many times have you asked me about 4? You always ask the same question, Hope, and then you forget. You always seem to understand what 4 is, and then like always, the closest you come is 4 to 1, which means death in a sense. She could not say 5. She took the 5th, is what she did. Understanding 4 was always amazement, but still understanding what it meant. That was the puzzlement. The mother, like always, took shop. Another soul in the arms was an old woman. She didn't say 5. Her eyes were closed. Oblivion on occasion opened up the eyes, sapphire white, the rose in a sense. Oh yes, the carnation called heaven in a sense. She would go into the eyes, and the eyes would open. Infinity beckoned, and the old woman with a smile on her face, she faded. Again the same stupid question. What is 4? Tell me, what is 4? Who plays